Hello, I'm the Universal Critic. I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want, and today I'm doing a review of Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Before I start, let me get one thing clear. I've never seen the other three. I think there's three. I've never seen any of the Mission Impossible movies or any of the TV shows or anything. This is my first real exposure to it, and let me tell you, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. The story is over the top, but it's done well. It's enjoyably over the top. It's not over the top to the point it's like, oh really, this is so stupid. It's not. It never gets to a point where like it's so stupid that you can't say it. It works out well. Well, there's this. But it also injects some humanism into it. Like there's this subplot about Ethan Hunt's wife that, like, her like dying or something that actually works out really well. I won't spoil it for the resolution or really anything about it for you, but let me tell you, it works out pretty well. While I bring up the story of this movie, let me talk about another spy movie, Salt. It also came out recently. I bring it up because Tom Cruise was originally supposed to star as the main character in that movie, but he dropped out because he thought it would be too similar to Ethan Hunt. This movie is a bit more of what Salt should have been like. You know, it has the story of like the agents being betrayed by the government and hunted by them, but so they have to avoid the government while still accomplishing their mission. It works out much better than it did in Salt. Let's just say this is what Salt should have been like. Let me leave it at that. Let's talk about the characters. Ethan Hunt, he's a fun character. Tom Cruise does a good job. You sympathize for him, but you still for him, and there's this for him and everything. And there's this actually. While I talk about this, let's talk about how his character is introduced. It's a very complicated story, like about him being like in prison or something, and then the rest of the crew has to break him out. That's how the movie starts. I thought it was really confusing at first, but it works itself out well in the end. It's still satisfying, and Tom Cruise does a good job. Now the other characters. The character Jane Carter, a female agent on their team who is played by our not quite Zoe Saldana for the evening. Yeah, the girl who played her did well, but I just thought Zoe Saldana could have done it better. Leave it at that. She's a female character in an action movie, but she's not a love interest. Which is refreshing for me because that's the way it always is in movies like this. Yeah, she's more of what like the character Karen from Blade should have been like. From Blade should have been like. She's not a love interest, but she's still an interesting character. She's competent. She's respected by the others. She's just a hot woman in a movie She's just an agent who happens to be an attractive woman. They don't really play it up or anything like that. Now let's get to my favorite character, Benji, played by the ever-hilarious Simon Pegg. Yeah, as you can probably tell, I'm a big fan of Simon Pegg, and I loved him in this movie. There's like this plot about like he used to be like a technician or something for the agency, and now suddenly he's a field agent. He doesn't really know what he's doing, but he's not annoying at all. He contributes to the story. He helps them out. He helps them save the day in the end. In fact, he's essential to the plot. He actually is meaningful, and he's a very fun character. He's probably the best character in the movie. The last character I'm going to talk about is a character named Brent, played by, I don't know the guy's name. He's sort of like the guy who kind of guy from like a government agency who gets roped into the situation. You think, oh, they're just gonna have to explain everything to him. No, he actually does contribute a lot to the story. In fact, he contributes to that subplot I mentioned earlier about Ethan Hunt's wife, but I won't spoil it for you. I will leave it at that. Just you'll have to see the movie to find out about it. But yeah, he's an interesting character. He gets some good fight scenes, and the guy who plays him does a good job. And well, yeah, he's a fun character. Everything in this movie is kind of fun. The action sequences are amazing. They're really cool. I didn't see this movie in 3D, so I won't comment on that. But it was actually the action sequences were very impressive. Though at times they got a little too ridiculous. Like there's this one scene where Tom Cruise is in this like really complicated parking garage with like automated lifts and everything. He actually drives a car off a 100-meter drop. I'm not kidding. He purposely drives an expensive sports car off a 100-meter drop. And he survives practically unscathed. Yeah, as you can tell, that was kind of silly, and it was a little exaggerated, but that's the only action sequences that really went there. I mean, this movie, like I said before, this movie can get a little corny at times, where like near the end of the movie, Tom Cruise actually says mission accomplished. Yeah, he actually literally says that. But yeah, the corny moments don't ruin the movie. They will not ruin the movie at all for anyone. In fact, they actually make it better because, like, you know, it helps you remind that this movie is not to be taken entirely seriously. Like, it's kind of B movie with an A movie budget. But like I said, but anyway, in conclusion, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol is a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. So, and that's all I have to say. I'm the universal critic. I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want.